Welcome to the Boozy Blondes podcast.
She's Molly.
And she's Chrissy.
We're best friends on a quest to bring you all things boozy.
Let's get lit. Pop,
Fizz,
clink, let's drink. Welcome back, Lushes. Today, we're going to share an interview with you that we had with John Moore, who's the owner of Forgotten Tonic in St. Augustine. But first, Chris, what are we drinking?
We have to do the most important part of the show, what we're drinking today. So today's dough is going to be a chai espresso martini, and it's in honor of all the amazing cocktails that they have at Forgotten Tonic. I got this recipe from Half Baked Harvest, who's one of my favorite chefs, but she has amazing cocktail recipes, so definitely check this one out. It's got vodka, Kahlua, espresso, coconut milk, and a really cool recipe for a chai honey syrup.
It's so good and so festive for, we're recording in December. It's the perfect winter drink.
Yeah, I served it at my Christmas stocking party, so.
They were gone.
Yeah.
Everybody just, I don't know the right word. I almost said gobbled them down.
I was going to say guzzled.
Yeah.
But I was trying to make it sound classier.
Yeah. No, they were definitely guzzle worthy.
Yes.
Ew.
It's been one of those days already.
Yeah. So Forgotten Tonic is one of our favorite bars in St. Augustine. It's a little off the beaten path on, I call it Avali Street.
Yes.
What do you call it?
We talked about this in the interview. This was one of my questions
really?
for John.
Okay.
I asked about the history of Avali Street, and then I said, how do you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Because everyone says it wrong.
Yeah.
Or differently. But I always called it Avali, and I think he said Avilis.
Oh, gosh.
So,
I don't want to say that.
I don't know. Well, you guys will have to listen to see exactly how he said it, but I'm going to go with he knows how to say it since his bar is on the street. But.
That's a fair assumption.
Yeah.
I still like Avali. And your Avali.
Avali. Yeah.
Tomato.
Yeah. It's a special street.
Yeah. It is a special street. Like, historically,
yes.
It's just all cobblestone, and they buried a bunch of bodies under, I forget which war it was, but they're all under the street there.
Yeah, because the Spanish military hospital was on the same street, and they would say, like, when we did this ghost tour, they said that people would die and they just throw them out in the street, and then it would rain and flood, and now the joke is that that's why the streets of St. Augustine flood so much, is because of all the bodies that have just been, like, buried over and over.
Oh, yeah. They ran out of room in all the cemeteries.
Yeah. When you live in the oldest town in the U.S., I mean, it's just comes with the territory.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm so excited to do this episode because Molly and I both love Forgotten Tonic so much. We've been going there for years, and I was lucky enough to sit down with John Moore, who's the owner, and we talked about how we met, what it's really like to run a bar, and the cool history of the building that houses Forgotten Tonic, and so much more.
And it's Nights of Light season, so I think there's probably like a couple weeks left when you're listening to this, or when we release this episode. And Forgotten Tonic is one of the bars in the country who has the pop-up Miracle Bar.
Mm-hmm.
And that is awesome. I describe it like National Lampoon's house threw up inside. Every inch of that place is covered in Christmas.
It is so festive. And we definitely need to talk about our last or most recent visit there, because Molly, you didn't get to come to the interview. So we wanted to go back and experience the Miracle Pop-Up Christmas decor one more time before we sat down to do the intro for this podcast.
Because we went last year. I think it was the first year we experienced it in 2020. We went, it was like a couple days before Christmas. We went biking downtown and got to go. And I mean, right, even before you get in, there's a giant blow-up elf.
Yes, I took a selfie with him.
Yeah, from the movie outside. And you got to go to the like soft opening party as well.
Yeah, they did like a kind of like an industry night for the people that work there and all their patrons and stuff like that. So that was really cool. So yeah, I got to interview John. I got to go to that little Christmas party they did. And then we went back just like last week or so.
Yeah. And well, fun fact, before I talk about when we were there, I was just in Richmond, Virginia last week. And my friend texted me to meet up at a bar called the Jasper. And when he sent me the menu, it was the exact same menu from Forgotten Tonic. I said, oh my gosh, it's another Miracle pop-up bar. And I didn't make it there. I'm sure Forgotten Tonic is the best.
Yes.
But I was sad I didn't get to go. But when we went with the boys.
Yes, we brought
I'm
the
saving
boys.
us a drink. This espresso martini is pretty strong. And we got 2 Santa Rexes. I think
Oh,
the
yeah,
boys
Santa
got?
T-Rex.
Anyway, it's like a Paloma, but it was like a smoky Paloma. It was
Yeah.
so good. It was with Blanco tequila, mezcal, melon liqueur. Ooh, I don't even know what this is. Almond orgeat.
Orgot? Yeah,
Orgat?
I don't know how to say it or what it is. It's just delicious.
Lime and tiki bitters. And with a little asterisk, it contains nuts. It was so good.
That one is my favorite container that they come in because they all come in these really festive glassware. So it's like each drink has a theme and the cup goes with it. So it just makes it even more Christmassy.
And Chrissy, you had the Yippee-Ki-Yay Mother Effer.
Yes, that's my favorite.
Yeah, and that was Barbados Rum. Oh my gosh, a lot of rum.
That's my same description. I was like, a lot of different rums.
There's some pineapple juice in there and coconut. What'd you say it's called?
Orgot?
Orgot.
I don't know.
That's the fancy way.
Orgeat.
Acid adjusted pineapple juice. They had pretty much the same names of the drinks last year, but John said they were different ingredients.
Yeah, I like how they do that because it makes it a different experience. Even if you went to the 2020 version, you can come back and experience it for 2021 because the menu has different cocktails, even though they're in the same cool glasses with the same cool cocktail names. And I have to say that Forgotten Tonic really stepped it up. Like the decorations were even more over the top this year, which I didn't think was possible, but it looked so amazing inside.
So last year, I think Rainer he wanted to order the Yippee-Ki-Yay, and the waitress would not serve it to him until he said the entire name. He was being so polite.
His
not
face
wanting
was getting red.
Yeah. But after one of those, he had no problem saying it. And I had Elfin Around, which was Prosecco and gin, mulled wine reduction, grapefruit shrub, aromatic bitters, and orange bitters. I think I said that word wrong again. It wasn't aromatic. It was
aromatic.
Oh, yes. I was going to say aromatomic. Words are really hard today.
It might be these martinis.
But that was delicious. I loved that. Elfin Around. I want to go back before Night's Lights is over so I can get it one more time.
Oh, do you have them on your phone? I want to see the menu because when I went for the Christmas party, I tried a different one that had bourbon in it. Let me see if it's on here because it was strong.
What kind of? Oh, your Yippee-Ki-Yay came in Santa pants. Like it was the bottom half of Santa. Mine was a champagne flute with Christmas scene on it. What was your other? What did yours come
I got the Jolly Koala. It came in, it was kind of a really cute wine glass that had like a bunch of like Christmas etchings on it, like really vintage looking. And it's bourbon, cocoa nibs, aperitif, dry vermouth, mulled wine reduction, and mole bitters.
Oh, I think I wanted that one, but it was hot when we went and I didn't want a warm. It was warm.
It's not warm.
It's not warm?
Mine wasn't.
Maybe I just thought it was.
Because it says mulled wine, but they they reduce it down. So it's so strong. Like the taste is incredible, but I was like there drinking one by myself and I'm like, ooh. Like,
you got friendly, didn't you, after that one?
Yeah. But then my favorite drink we had this last time that the four of us went was the naughty shots.
Oh.
That was fantastic. And they come in these really cute little Santa shot glasses. There's a naughty or a nice. And it was bourbon with their house-made cinnamon syrup.
Yeah.
Even Rainer was impressed, which I feel like is hard to do.
I thought we had the gingerbread one.
Was that nice? We had the gingerbread syrup?
John was just telling us, let's do a shot of gingerbread bourbon with me.
We'll have to we'll do our B-roll and look back at our photos because I took a picture of us like cheering them and for some reason I thought they were the naughty Santa faces. But either way, the shots were fantastic.
And so cute. Great presentation.
Yes. So by the way, if you go to any of the Miracle Pop-Up bars, which this is a worldwide thing that they do, and only a few bars around the world are chosen for it. So it's a huge honor that Forgotten Tonic has been chosen twice. But I love it because, I mean, who doesn't love drinking for a great cause? So they do 10% of your retail purchase if you're purchasing the actual really cool mugs or glassware that your drinks come in. They go to the James Beard Foundation Open for Good campaign. So you can help support it by buying the really cool cocktail glass that your drink comes in, or you can just go online and make a donation that way too.
And like you said, all the decorations, everything in there is vintage looking. I love it so much. And all the glasses that you can buy and take home too have that vintage feel.
Yeah, it's super cool. It made me feel like being back in the 90s, like Christmas. I don't know. I loved it. Yeah.
Every picture is wrapped in wrapping paper.
Yes.
Like the episode where Jim in the office wraps all of Dwight's stuff.
Yeah.
Like everything in there is wrapped.
Yeah. Okay, so before we get into the interview, I have a trivia question for you, Molly.
Oh, okay. Good. Because I'm sure this espresso martini isn't going to cloud my thinking.
Okay. I don't know if you're going to know this answer, but I thought it was cool. So what is Forgotten Tonic's best-selling drink?
The espresso martini.
No.
Oh, man.
It is made with vodka from the distillery, though.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's the Raising Cane.
Yeah, I never would have guessed that.
So we need to get it next time because I've never tried it, and that's their number one best-selling drink. So
cool. And it's made with local vodka.
Yes.
St. Augustine Distillery. Cool.
Well, we hope you guys enjoyed this interview. I had such a blast starting my day with John and having coffee and donuts and just talking about his amazing bar, Forgotten Tonic. Hey, Lushes. Welcome back to the Boozy Blondes. I am here at Forgotten Tonic with John.
Hey, good morning, Christina. I'm John Mora, the owner of Forgotten Tonic. We're kind of a neighborhood gem of a restaurant located in the heart of the historic district, the original center of town, the art district of town, and we kind of just consider ourselves it's like a hidden gem of the city. We don't do really any advertising. We're not in that main tourist trap strip they call St. George Street, and we love just kind of being hidden and tucked away for all the locals, and then watching tourists kind of come by and like find this little tucked away place.
This is absolutely one of my favorite streets in St. Augustine. So for those of you guys who are not local listeners, St. Augustine is pretty small, but in the historic area. But like John said, they are kind of off the beaten path, and that's exactly how I would describe you guys, as a hidden gem. This is my favorite street. It's Avile. How do you say it? Because this is always a big debate.
Avalese.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know everyone says it differently, so I always ask, but
yeah,
we're getting it right from the source here. He's on the street, so. But this street is very European. I just love the feel and like being able to have the chairs and tables out on the sidewalk, and you have the horse and carriage going by. So I just love all of that. But a little background about how John and I met. One morning I was doing my morning walk through downtown, and you were renovating. And I was being super nosy, as I am, and looking in through the window, and you were like, hey, do you want to come in and look around?
Yeah.
And I love that you did that, because I think that just speaks to like how much you guys love your community and are interested in sharing what you're doing with everyone here.
That's just kind of how we operate. We're always like open and welcoming to people, no matter like where you come from, your walk of life. Doesn't matter to us. Just all we're concerned with is just being nice. That's all we want, is just people to be nice. And if you have a question and we can answer it, we'll do that.
And that definitely comes across. You guys are so genuine and authentic about it. By the way, this is like my new favorite way to start the day. We are having donuts, and I'm having boozy coffee. So, it's a boozy podcast. We're enjoying ourselves. So, Forgotten Tonic, from my point of view, is like one of the most beautiful bars in St. Augustine. You guys have incredible food and some of the best craft cocktails that I've ever tried. So, can you tell us a little bit about Forgotten Tonic's history and how you got into this industry in the first place?
Yeah, it's kind of a strange path. I studied engineering in college. I did what I thought I was supposed to do. I was really good at math, and I love science, still love science, and studied electrical engineering. I worked for a couple companies, and I just realized that I hated it. It just wasn't for me. I had no passion behind it. It wasn't stimulating, and I just quit, and I started working for P.F. Chang's as a busboy. I needed money, and so they hired me on the spot when they were opening in the town center, and I fell in love with it. I'd come home every night with like soy sauce all over my stomach, and my tie would be all messed up. But I enjoyed every minute of it. And you know what? There's people along the way that are like mentors, and if you find those people, you need to like grab onto them. And if I didn't have those people at PF Chang's, then what's going on right now wouldn't have happened. They were very nurturing and like helping point me in the right direction. And I slowly took over more and more responsibility, became a bartender, became a national trainer, and helped open up restaurants for PF Chang's, and then finally went into management. And then during that time as a bartender and a busboy, I met this gentleman who had opened a barbecue restaurant. And when my tenure at PF Chang's came to an end, I didn't see any more growth. He offered me an opportunity to come help him with his restaurants, and that's how I really dove deeper into the cocktail side of things. And he was opening a whiskey bar called Mojo Number 4 in Avondale in Jacksonville, and I just took the horse by the reins, and I really didn't drink whiskey at the time. And from then on, all I drank was whiskey. Everywhere I went, if I didn't know about it, I ordered it, I looked it up, I researched it, and I helped him open, I think, 5 more locations from them. And then I kind of became bored with how things were. And, sometimes I regret that decision because COVID has been very difficult.
Yeah.
And the stress level has been super, super high. But I love what me and my team have created here. And, yeah.
Yeah, you guys have a great team.
Yeah. I'm very fortunate.
That is what's so cool about this industry. I feel like it really bonds people, especially going through something like COVID and how that's like affected the industry and just changed the game. And in general, this industry is something you guys have to like roll with the punches and just keep changing every day. And on one hand, it's good because you're prepared to do that.
Yeah.
You guys, if you have such a great team, well-oiled machine, you can kind of do that.
Yeah, the restaurant industry trains you very well to take on new, unexpected problems and tasks.
All right, this is a question that I know I really want the answer to because I have said this a million times. Every time I'm like having a good drink, I say I should open a bar. So I think anyone who enjoys a great boozy beverage the way we do has had that moment where you think like opening a bar is the best idea ever. So can you tell us a little bit about the reality of running a bar?
It's not, what the guest sees is like smiling and shaking cocktails and having a good time with people and an occasional shot with guests at the bar. And that's like 1% of what it is. I got here at, I got here almost 4 hours before we opened the doors today to do paperwork, set up, check cleanliness of the place, the inventory that we have, and then we stay late at night. Like when people close out and leave and go home for the night or to wherever they go, we stay here and clean. And then you have those nights where you have to throw people out or people getting arguing. I've had a knife.
Too much fun.
I've had a knife pulled on me.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I've had a knife pulled on me. Cleaning up bodily fluids in the bathrooms and the floors. It's not all it's cracked up to be. Somebody said that they wanted to open a restaurant with me, and I asked them, why do you want to do that? They're like, well, I love like entertaining people. I love cooking for people. And I said, all right, well, what's your favorite thing to do, make? And they told me it was paella. And I was like, oh, I love paella. Well, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go in your kitchen. I want you to wall yourself in there. And I want you to make 100 paellas. And no one's allowed to come back there and tell you about the paella unless they didn't like it.
Yeah.
Now do you still want to open a restaurant?
Oh, my gosh.
That's what it is. A lot of times it's the negative stuff we do. So we're always trying to work on emphasizing the positive because unfortunately in this business you're looking for the problems and trying to solve the problems, but you need to sometimes look for the positive things.
I mean, that's a great spin to put on it, and I think that's probably what helps make you guys successful, because if
you're always focused on just like what's fun and what you want to do, then you're missing the point of,
Yeah.
you know, what the
Yeah.
customers need and how you guys
Yeah.
can, you know, keep moving forward. But it's funny because I like the way you described it. It's kind of like Instagram, you know, you only see what
Yeah.
you think that you're getting, but actually behind the scenes, you know, it's all unedited, raw, and like all the missteps that you make, you know,
Yeah.
the customers are only seeing the 1% you put forward. That's the perfect success.
And the time away from family
Yeah.
is very, or the time away from friends. It's very draining on your psyche. And I have a newborn at home.
Oh my gosh,
And,
congrats.
yeah, thank you. And it's I have an amazing wife that has taken over a lot of responsibility because I have to be here
Yeah.
because we're so short staffed, and it feels like we're like back in a startup of the restaurant because I'm here all the time trying to put fires out and take over for the holes we have in the schedule.
Yeah. When did you guys open?
So as Forgotten Tonic, it was right after we reopened for the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
We used the pandemic. It was a previous restaurant before, and we used I had this like rebrand in progress,
Mm-hmm.
and we used COVID as an opportunity to like accelerate that. And you have to use every time something like bad happens or it's not how you expect. The restaurant industry, like you said before, is so good at pivoting.
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing pivoting on the news, but we're really good at that. So we use that opportunity or that failure of the system as an opportunity to rebrand.
Yeah.
So I think that was in June of 2020. I think that's when we reopened. We were allowed to reopen.
Yeah.
So
how many days a week are you physically here at the bar?
I'm here 6 days a week. Trying to bring it down to 5.
Yeah.
So
You can have a little bit of a life.
yeah. My management team has been very good about getting me out of here in time so I can go have dinner with my family, pick up my son from school.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right, so I have a couple more questions under this advice to give people that want to open a bar. What is one thing you wish you had known before you started?
I don't, I would just say it's whatever your expectation is, it's not going to be there. Whatever you think the time you're going to have to put in, it's going to be more. Whatever the money you're going to have to put in, it's going to be more. Just be very conservative with your estimates, like sales estimates, cost estimates, all that stuff. Just be very conservative with it. You got to put in like the time.
Yeah.
If opening a new bar or restaurant takes 2 years of your life at least.
It's like starting a family. It's not really a business.
That's a great way a great analogy for it. In the beginning when you have a baby, they're
Super needy.
totally helpless. Like everything,
Yeah.
you have to do everything for them. And there's times where you're just like, you want to give up, but you can't.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't.
Well, you have the passion for it too. And I think that's what makes it successful. It can't just be like, oh, this is a cool business idea. You have to really love it.
Yeah, you can't say like, oh, I've got some money or I've got a cool name.
Yeah.
That's not.
I'm good at making cocktails.
Yeah. I think that my favorite part about it is the people aspect. It's not the guest aspect. It's the staff.
Yeah.
My staff is watching people grow.
Yeah.
In my career, 15, 20 years in the industry, my favorite part is like watching people that I used to work with and them like growing either under me or like moving on to something else and then continuing to flourish. It's just a beautiful thing to watch.
That's a great reward. That makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
I think I had all these questions and you just covered all of them, which is awesome. See, John knows his stuff. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about St. Augustine because I love this town. For those of you that don't know, it is the oldest continually occupied city in the U.S. So this place has some rich history. We had, the 450th anniversary a couple years ago.
Yeah, I think it was, what was that, 5 years ago or so?
Yeah, 2015-ish?
Yeah.
So do you know anything about the history of this building?
This building has been, when you look back at tax records, it's been a bicycle shop, a sailboat like the material for the sale.
Oh, wow.
It's been a art gallery. It's been a couple different restaurants. I heard back in the day it was a school. This location was one of the first public schoolhouses in the country.
Oh,
was back here by where the kitchen is. The cornerstone.
That's crazy.
Was back there when we had to install the grease trap. We found the cornerstone. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
When you guys did renovations, did you have to have the archaeological team come out and check things?
Yeah.
That's something that I think listeners just would be blown away by. I mean, I've been here since '98, and anytime you see any sort of new construction within the city limits, it takes forever because you have to get the team out here to see if there's any sort of historical facts under the foundations. I mean, you just never know what's left behind in a town that's as old as this.
Anytime you dig into the dirt, you have to bring the archaeologist in, and it's really interesting some of the things they find. But it's also one of those things, those expectations. It took 10 weeks to do just a little section of the floor here, and my expectation was, it'll take 4 weeks to take care of this.
Yeah.
No.
Multiply everything, basically. Yeah. Did you guys find anything cool?
We found the old schoolhouse foundation. There was a rodent carcass from 300 years ago.
Prehistoric.
And there's a bead. There's a bead that is a Spanish bead. It's like this black, some sort of crystal or stone that comes from Spain.
Wow.
And that was found down there too.
I mean, that is really cool. It sucks that it takes so long, but it's cool to have that history. Because for you that are listening, across the street is the Spanish Military Hospital Museum. And I remember, I love history, so I've done just about every tour in this town. And when my friends come to visit, I'm like, okay, let's do it again. But I just love the stories about this street and just everything the town has gone through. And that's why I love that you guys are on this street. I feel like it makes it even more of an experience.
Well, somebody put it in great perspective, is this street, if you think about a really important, widely known historical event in American history, is the Paul Revere's Ride. Mm-hmm. And there was people walking on this street 150 years before Paul Revere. So
that's amazing. So why did you choose St. Augustine?
It chose me. You can't force things to happen. In business, it the right opportunity has to show itself, and then you have to work with what's given to you. I was looking for, like I said, I was bored and I wanted to go do my own thing, and so my mentor and business partner and I were looking for different spaces all over the North Florida area. I would have preferred to be closer to my house in Jacksonville, but this opportunity came. Him and I had both been here before when it was the previous restaurant, and we loved the space. I was looking for something, I had different neighborhoods of North Florida picked out, and then what I thought each of them needed. And I thought St. Augustine needed rum-centric, oysters, and when we found this space, I love the space. The price was really good. I love the street, but the rum and oyster did not work with this space. It's a shotgun space. It's dark. It's kind of sultry and sexy, and I just don't think either of those things go with that. So
yeah, I agree. You guys nailed it with the way you set it up.
Yeah, so we adjusted our thoughts on what the concept should be, and then sort of slowly worked our way there. In the beginning, we just made subtle changes because money was tight, and we also didn't want to alienate the people that had been coming here before.
Right.
Yeah.
What year was that when you guys found the space?
That was January 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
How you came up with the name?
Okay, so the name, I have an ongoing list on my notes of different names. When I have names for cocktails, names for bars. When I see something, I write it down. I have kind of Snapchat memory.
Yeah.
So
I do the same thing.
Yeah, it's there, and then it's like a flash in the pan. So I need to write it down.
Thank God for phones. You can keep that list going.
Yeah. And so my wife came up with the name. She just thought of it, and then so we wrote it down, and I kind of liked the way it like rolled together. And then thinking about it, I was like, wow, Forgotten. The street, Avonlea Street, is the forgotten street of St. Augustine.
Yeah.
It's the oldest street in the country, and the city doesn't promote it.
No.
They don't promote it really at all.
It's all about St. George.
Yeah, and and that street's great too. And everything has works together. But yeah, I was like, man, it's kind of like the forgotten street.
Yeah.
And then Tonic, for me, like restaurants, bars, gathering places, are places where people go to like celebrate, to get away from their everyday life. So it's like a remedy, and Tonic's a remedy. So that's kind of how the name came together, and how I thought it worked with the space.
That's a great name. Yeah. I love like hearing the stories behind the name. It's kind of like behind the music.
Yeah.
Because there's always a lot of thought that goes into it. It's not like you just put two words together.
It was a pretty scary moment, because I have 25 people that work for me, and it's their livelihood that I can hurt really bad by making a wrong step. And so I asked all sorts of different people their thoughts on the name, and some of them just told me like, what a terrible name, but you got to weigh those things out. And the people that are closer to you, the ones that want you to succeed, they'll give you like the real answers. And then sometimes you just got to be like, you know what, I'm just going with it. We're doing it, and I'm real happy with it.
I love it. I think you guys nailed it. Okay, so, I mean, we have just blown through this interview. I love it. We're having a good time having our drinks and our donuts. So I have two more topics I want to talk to you guys about. So if you're listening to this podcast, we're recording it right now in November. So the holidays are coming up, and something that you guys have done in 2020 that I came to last year and absolutely loved was the Christmas pop-up bar. Are you guys going to do that again this year?
Yeah, so we're starting decorating on Friday, and last year was our first time doing it, working with the Miracle group, and it was such a godsend coming out of COVID. I'm not the biggest Christmas fan. I worked for Publix for a long time, and the Christmas music starts early. And
God, I know.
You're working 40 hours a week, and cutting ham for people. It's not what you're interested in listening to. And so I was kind of a bah humbug, Grinch kind of person about that. And last year just was an awesome, like, bright time. The music was great, the smells, everyone was happy, getting dressed up in goofy stuff. The guests coming in, everyone was just big smiles. My son, when he came in here and he saw all the lights on the ceiling, and like his eyes lit up. It was really, really awesome. And so we're really happy to be doing it again. We're going to start when Nights of Lights starts that night. That'll be our first night doing it.
Do you know what day what date that is?
That's November 20th.
Okay, wow, that's right around the corner.
That's literally 10 days away.
You guys did such a great job with the decorations. I remember coming in and like, you just want to be dressed for Christmas when you're here, and all the really cool cups, and you had like cocktails for each one. I can't remember the name of the drink, but it was served in like a T-Rex Santa mug, and it was just the coolest.
The Santa
thing.
Rex.
I loved it. So can you tell us a little bit about the selection process, or is it benefiting anything, or is it just something that they roll out for the holidays?
So the mugs, a portion of the sales of the mugs go towards a different charity every year.
Okay.
I can't remember what the charity is this year, but I had to interview for it. I did a phone call with a lady named Joan out of New York, and she was awesome. We spoke for like an hour on the phone, and She was very upfront and transparent. I really respect when we try to be really transparent in here with our guests and with our staff. And so she was really transparent about everything. It was when COVID was ending in terms of shutdowns.
Yeah.
And so we didn't have much money in the bank. And she told me, like, listen, if it doesn't work out the way you want it to work out, you don't have to pay.
That's awesome.
And we'll take care of it for you. And we had to pay a little franchise fee, and it was totally worth it. And then just kind of being part of that group, and there's a lot of bars all over the country that are in it, and some of them are very, very well known. And to be in that circle and be able to bounce ideas off those people that have been doing it a lot longer than me is a very valuable thing.
That's great. I didn't know that it was all over the country.
It's all over the world.
Wow.
I think last year there was like 110 or 105 participating bars.
So it's a huge honor to be a part of that.
Yeah. Thankfully, we had this person would come into the bar during the initial reopening, and she owns a bar in Delray Beach called Death or Glory. And if you haven't been there, it's an awesome, awesome place. A lot of fun, similar to what we do here.
Okay.
She had such a good time here that she invited us to be a part of Miracle and to go through the interview process. And yes, her name is Annie, and we always love when Annie comes in here because she always has her dog with her. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, buddy.
That's awesome. Well, so where is the best place for guests to kind of keep up with your upcoming events?
Social media, Instagram, Facebook is the best place to follow along with what we're doing. Yeah.
And you guys do reservations for dining here, right? Can you do it online, or do you have to call?
Yeah, you can do it through our website. You can do it through Open Table, and you can give us a phone call.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely recommend it because you guys, their food and drinks are out of this world. And I always make a reservation, even though I'm a local, because I'm like, hey, I want to get a seat there.
Yeah, we've had to, with the ongoing staffing shortage, in order to preserve the team we do have, we've limited the number of people that we allow in every 15 minutes. That way we don't overwhelm everybody.
Yeah,
and
everyone's going to have a good time.
Yeah, and also so we don't destroy the experience of the guests that are already here.
That's true.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I do love that a lot more people that weren't doing reservations in St. Augustine are, because it's a tourist town. So there are just a mass influx of people, it seems like, all year round now.
Yeah.
So it's nice just to be able to know as a local that you can get into some of your favorite places.
Yeah.
Because you may not know that there's some crazy event going on and all of a sudden there's all these tourists here.
Yeah. Yeah, we use, there's a bunch of different platforms, but we use Open Table, and Open Table was great during the pandemic because they took the initiative and contacted different restaurants and took care of the fees and stuff, and just comped everything and said, when you reopen, we'll get back to it, but we're not going to charge you. And I was really thankful for that.
That's great, because I don't think a lot of people know that those companies like Open Table and Resi charge restaurants a fee to use that service.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you see that, be very appreciative that these great restaurants that you love are making it even easier for you to come there.
It costs us less money if you reserve through our website.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good tip to know.
Yeah.
All right, so the last thing is on our Boozy Blondes podcast, we like to do a fast five. So I have 5 questions here for you that you can kind of just give me a quick answer. And it's just fun, and I think it gives us all a good idea of where you're at.
Okay.
All right, so, John, what is your favorite drink to make?
Ramos Gin Fizz.
Oh my gosh, I've had one of those. What is your favorite drink to drink?
Negroni.
What booze is your best seller?
Vodka. If anybody says something other than vodka, they're lying to you. It's the number 1 seller.
If you could drink with anyone at your bar, past, present, or future, who would it be?
My wife.
Oh, that's so sweet. Where in St. Augustine do you like to grab a drink when you're not at your own bar?
Ooh, that's a tough question because...
there's so many good places here.
There's such a great places here, and I don't want to alienate
I know.
anybody, you know. But I would probably say the place I usually go is Barley Republic.
Yes.
You know, at the end of a long day, I want to get a nicely poured Guinness and some chicken tenders, and and just sit at the bar and not have to like necessarily talk shop or be bothered. Sometimes I just want to look into the bottom of my glass.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I like that place. That's a great local spot.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else you want our listeners to know before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I would say just to be patient and understanding at, you know, bars and restaurants. You know, causing a scene and going online and like, I'm going to write them a bad review. It doesn't do anybody any good. Like, it doesn't make the restaurant better. Just, you know, the emails of the management team and the owner are probably on their website. There may be business cards at the front door. Mm-hmm. Write them an email. Just let them know about your experience. You know, if they don't respond to you or just like, you know, tell you to go pound salt, then you know, that's your opportunity where you can go write a bad review. But you know, try to talk to somebody so they can correct it. They don't want to serve bad food or give bad service or make somebody feel like they're not welcome. They want everybody to come in. Yeah, so take the you know, maybe a little bit of time out of your day, instead of going online and writing a bad review, just write an email and just let them know.
Absolutely. That's definitely the most productive way to
Yeah.
get your thoughts across.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think that they're going to be the next, you know, Anthony Bourdain or whoever food blogger you can think of, and by writing nasty stuff, like, it just doesn't do any good.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being a guest on Boozy Blondes podcast. You are our very first hometown bar interview, and I cannot wait to share this with all of our listeners, and hopefully people come check out your bar when they're in St. Augustine.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I hope you enjoyed my interview with John from Forgotten Tonic. John, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to chat with the Boozy Blondes. I had so much fun, and I learned that there's even more to love about one of my favorite bars in St. Augustine. Stay tuned for bonus content from this interview. John and I had such a blast that we decided to keep the camera rolling after the interview. Here's some highlights from our conversation.
All right, so one more question for you. Do you have a guilty pleasure drink that you don't want other people necessarily to know that you love?
Well, it would be, I mean, I don't care if people know about it, but it's not like you see me, like if you saw me order it, you wouldn't expect somebody who owns a cocktail bar to be ordering that. But, you know, I love, before I got into whiskey, I would drink vodka on the rocks.
Just vodka on the rocks?
Just vodka on the rocks. That's what I would drink. And the other thing is, I love, like, if I go to a place that has the frozen fake pina colada machine, I order one of them, and I have
cruise drinks.
and I put and then put coffee liqueur on it, and I love it. I love it.
That's like an ice cream sundae. I mean, what's not to love about that?
Yeah.
The vodka, just vodka on the rocks, is a surprise. Not even vodka soda.
No.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Maybe a lime. Maybe
like
a lime.
the most simple cocktail
Yeah.
ever. So, okay, how about, I mean, this is a cocktail bar, but do you prefer cocktails over beer and wine?
Depends, you know, what I'm doing or where I am. If my wife says I tricked her, because I used to make cocktails at home all the time, and now it's like, what do you want to drink? I'm like, wine.
Yeah.
And so, you know, at the house we drink a lot of wine, even though I have a ton of liquor at my house, but, you know, after you've been working all day, you don't want to clock back in. But if I go out to a bar that makes good drinks, I'm going to order a cocktail. Yeah.
Okay, between beer and wine, which one would you choose?
Wine.
Yeah, me too.
Really, the only beer I like drinking is Guinness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm newly acquiring a taste for it, and it's really funny that we started this Boozy Blondes podcast, because I've always been a big wine drinker, and then it'll be cocktails, because I'm a bit of a lightweight, so sometimes cocktails will knock me on my ass. But beer is super new to me, and it's been like killing my husband that I don't like beer, because he's obsessed with it. We have 2 kegs on tap at the house at all times, so he's like quite the beer connoisseur. But doing this podcast has really opened my eyes to craft beers, and we're lucky to have all these craft breweries in town. Yeah. And I've really gotten into sours. That's been like my gateway beer.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like right in between.
That's a strange thing. Usually sours are on the end of the spectrum.
I know, because I think like real beer drinkers don't like them. Like Phil hates them. He'll
Yeah.
just gets bitter beer face as soon as he tries it. But
Yeah.
to me, they don't have that hoppiness.
Yeah.
They're almost more like a weird tart candy.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Like a warhead or something.
Yeah,
like that,
exactly. Yeah. All right, that was a great question.
That's it for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back soon with more boozy fun.
Well, and make sure to follow us on social media so you can get the drink of the day on Wasted Wednesdays. On Facebook, we're /Boozy Blondes. On the gram, we are at boozy.blondes. And on YouTube, we're /Boozy Blondes. Visit our website for recipes and references from each episode at www.boozyblondes.com. We'd love to hear from you, so send us an email sharing your boozy stories and requests and pictures at boozyblondespodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast so you never miss a chance to drink with us. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and more. And don't forget to leave a review. The boozier, the better. If we love your toast to our show, we'll read it on air. Stay boozy.
Cheers.